Hello, Void and all who inhabit it. It's me, your favorite non-Sims Sims channel. What a week it has been, and it's only Wednesday. As of when I'm recording this, I don't know when I'm actually uploading it. On Monday, a leaked image was spreading on social media suggesting that the 9th Sims expansion pack was going to be entitled Country Living. People were hyped for horses, farming, Elmer Fudd, the 3D experience. I'm being shady because I'm wholly uninterested in a pack about country living. But it makes sense. They had city living, it's only fair, the duality of man and all that. Then yesterday, May 5th, it was officially leaked, which I don't understand what that is, that the next expansion pack was actually entitled Eco Living. And today, on the 6th, the trailer is live and there is a press release detailing the perks of the pack. I don't understand. What is EA's criteria for what is an expansion pack versus a game pack versus a stuff pack? Because Tiny Living could have been a game pack. They could have expanded it a little bit more, potentially even combined with some of this eco-living stuff and made it a game pack. They had enough material to do so. And when you look at it in comparison to other stuff packs like Vintage Glamour stuff, which is just paying for Maxis Match CC, it doesn't make sense. Like, to me, it's not clear how much content has to be included for a DLC to count under each category. I'm bringing this up because people are already saying Eco Living looks like it could have just been a game pack. People are also saying that Eco Living looks like Island Living, in that it's content that could have been added somewhere else. I think what is more uninteresting about what Eco Living shares with Island Living, it also shares with Strangerville, which is that you're going to have to play through a storyline, which is literally the exact opposite reason of why people play The Sims, but okay. I have read that in Island Living, you don't really even have to do anything. Like, the island will just clean itself up. The press release on Eco Living suggests otherwise, that players will see the impact on the environment if they don't take action. I'm hoping that's something you can turn off, kind of how you can turn off temperature effects in seasons. But if the main draw of the pack is the story aspect and you can turn it off, you're basically buying an expansion pack just for Create a Sim and buy build items, which to me is effectively buying a game pack, which would be okay if this was marketed as that, but it's not. Honestly, I don't even think The Sims should have a game pack category. I think if The Sims 4 just had expansion packs and stuff packs the same way the last two installments did, the development team would be pushed to combine content in a way that would avoid a lot of this type of criticism. And then they could release, for example, a nightlife-esque, a late-night-esque expansion pack that has a city, that has apartments, that has vampires, that has a fame system, that has cars, instead of that content being split into 4 different packs with people still asking for the 5th thing. It's frustrating to feel the need to have multiple DLCs in order to add value to the game. The goal of The Sims has never been to collect all of the packs, but to pick the ones you want to customize your game the way you would like it to be. Breaking up content across packs makes that customization process less enjoyable, not just because you have to buy 4 packs to get the experience of one, but because they don't even break up the content very well. There are a couple of packs where the gameplay additions of the DLC are only or are best experienced in the neighborhood that came with it. And that, paired with a structured you have to or can only complete this one story type of gameplay, makes packs really uninteresting and lose replay value. Instead of combining Island Living, Eco Living, and Tiny Living into a can we get another type of title living expansion pack about sustainability and environmentalism with features that could diversify gameplay in multiple neighborhoods, we get 3 separate titles, all with the potential and tendency to be siloed gaming experiences. In my infinite frustration with The Sims 4, I started looking up who works on The Sims team, trying to find the credits for the base games to compare across installments. And I was looking because I thought maybe if I could pinpoint the changes in production team, some of these decisions would make sense. But The Sims has always switched up its production team. No installment has the same executive producer. So I started to think that the change was happening higher up the chain. In my first video cast on The Sims, I ran through a very surface level history of Max's ownership, starting on Will Wright's departure in 2009. After he left, Lucy Bradshaw, who was the executive producer of The Sims 2, would go on to be the main person overseeing much of The Sims 3 in her role as general manager and later senior vice president before leaving in 2015. That same year, the Maxis studio in Emeryville was shut down, Maxis was consolidated under the EA Mobile division, and the Maxis team's work would continue under the supervision of the EA Mobile vice president, Samantha Ryan, and the Maxis general manager, who was now Rachel Franklin. Franklin would only stay one more year, and 3 days after the press release on her departure, on the 14th of September, the year of our Lord 2016, EA announced that EA Mobile, Maxis, and BioShock would now all be a part of EA Worldwide Studios, a new division created by EA, which would be headed by Vice President Patrick Soderlund. He would go on to leave in 2018, being replaced by Laura Miele. Throughout all of this, one thing has stayed the same, and that's EA's CEO, Andrew Wilson, who started in 2013, which is funnily enough the same year of the infamous SimCity launch that required players to have an online connection to play, a decision thought to control players' access to the content, and which functioned as a predecessor to the Origin launcher we have today. Now, why do I bring you this conspiracy board full of leadership changes? It's not just to expose the behind-the-scenes clusterfuck that's been occurring since the start of The Sims 4, but also to point out that with the introduction of a new CEO, EA shifted priorities, restructured teams, moved away from free-to-play games and towards more microtransaction-based gameplay, and began to expand its game catalog, namely through a partnership with Disney to start creating more Star Wars games. What does that have to do with The Sims? There are things within the executive producer's control, like the most recent community survey had a question about adding some new cast options like stretch marks, scars, and vitiligo. In my opinion, vitiligo should already be in the skin tone option. They added some wild-ass costume makeup scars with Get Famous, so scars should also already be an option. And if they're adding stretch marks, they should address the fact that no matter what size a female presenting sim is, you can still see their ribcage. Those are things within an executive producer's control. A CEO don't give a fuck about a realistic skin tone, but you know what a CEO does care about? Money and stocks. Now, I am Marty Bird. I don't read financial reports or claim to understand them, but it doesn't take a business major to see that choices like consolidating teams, laying off employees, and re-releasing EA games on Steam are all attempts to get and keep as much money as possible. So when we're looking at the Sims 4 specific issue of chopped up, spread out content, sure, some of that critique should come down on the development team. Like, why did it take 5 years for them to add hijabs? But I wouldn't be surprised if decisions like the deadlines and the amount of content released are above Sim Guru pay grade. You shrink a team and tell them to churn out more stuff to pull in more money, and in return, the customers are given a franchise that's been chewed up and spat out with an ever-rotating team of leaders. This doesn't mean you shouldn't be frustrated, that you shouldn't, within reason, challenge the choices made by the Sims 4 executive producer and the development team, but you should probably lower your expectations. EA is in it for the money grab, baby. Personally, I'm expecting half-baked release for the rest of this cycle and potentially into the next one. If you made it to the end, thank you for making it to the end. I am considering doing one more post about The Sims being a millennial simulator. I don't know when, that's just something churning at the top of my mind now with this latest news. To those of y'all still rooting for the Yeehaw Agenda expansion pack, I'm sure capitalism will crack those ideas into at least 2 different DLCs and a patch by the end of 2021. Just be patient. In the meantime, I'm going back to Animal Crossing. Stay safe. I'll see you in the next echo chamber.